Hi, it's Tim Hagen from Progress Coaching, and welcome to another episode of Coaching Conversations. And I wanted to make you aware of something very cool that we're doing on a subscription basis, and we'll put a link in each one of our episodes. But every Wednesday, we're going to be doing what we call an audio podcast workshop. That workshop will be roughly about 14 to maybe 20 minutes per episode, with each month having a theme from a coaching model, using feedback strategically, to coaching self-awareness, and so on. So if you could, look in the body or in the content description of each episode, and you will see a link where you can join this subscription. These are literally 4 workshops every month, teaching specific strategies to address a particular area of workplace coaching, as it relates, again, to things like awareness, motivation, teamwork, and what have you. Here's the cool thing. It's only $10 per month, and each month you will get a handout that we will follow along with. So we also give you a tool for you to take notes as we go through each episode. We hope you'll check it out.
Now, as a lifelong sports fan and someone who's coached boys volleyball on and off for 30 years, I think about coaching sports. And I think about last night I watched the Wisconsin women's make it to the NCAA finals, and I'm a big fan of their program and their coach Kelly. And I think about everything that they were doing during the match. And I remember sitting, and my wife and I were watching, and I kept trying to predict what they were going to do. And I got some things right and certainly some things wrong. I'm not at that coaching level like Kelly is, but he was navigating during the match. He was making changes. He was making adjustments. And they were playing a team that was smaller but quicker. And so then he had to change, and he's navigating during the match. And I thought, oh, he's having his middle go to the right side, and he's trying to pair up with a smaller blocker. So he's navigating. He's changing his strategy based on what's going on. Now, let's think about the workplace. In the last 2 years, 2020, 2021, maybe the players haven't changed. Maybe they have. Yet hasn't the game changed? Where we work has changed. The psychology of our employee has changed. We now have people saying, you know what, I'm going to quit. I don't know where my next job's coming from. 2-3 years ago, we would have said, what? What are you, nuts? The game has changed. The playing field has changed. So think about the playing field for a second. What if we took, to a certain extent, this is going to be a weird analogy, we took a baseball team and said, oh, by the way, here's your new field. It's a football field, but just play the game. Don't change anything. They would think we're crazy. Hasn't our playing field changed? 2-3 years ago, how many of us really trusted our employees going to work well from home? Leaders have changed. So when I think about that volleyball match last night, watching that coach navigate, he couldn't just sit there and go, well, we're losing. We can't change anything. Let's just let the game play out. As leaders, our playing field has changed. Our players have changed. Their mentalities have changed. So we as leaders have to change. We have to navigate the new playing field. We have to navigate the psyche, the new psyche of the new players. See, one of the things that I love, and I think about different times in different generations, and I'm not a person who likes to label through generations. I'm not one who said, well, all X generation people are this, or all millennials are this. I hate that because I think it cuts us off from conversation. What I will say is that I do think the psychology of the employee has changed. And I'm going to share something with many conversations I've had with clients, outside clients, companies we don't do business with, because I don't want to have, certainly not have my clients think I'm talking about them. Yet everybody says 2 things to us as an outside agency. You don't understand. We're really busy. Everybody says it. Everybody. Like it's something new. Number 2, our industry is really unique and we're very stressed. Everybody says it. I'm not minimizing it. I'm not trying to trivialize it. Yet, what people are doing is they're playing a game. Business, to a certain extent, is a game. I don't mean to trivialize business. I don't mean to make light of profitability and losses and hardship of companies, and certainly with what some industries and companies have gone through. Yet it is a game. Our players don't just walk in the office anymore. Our players don't just communicate with their customers by getting on flights or driving to their offices. The game has changed. The playing fields have changed. The players have changed. What the players want have changed. Let me illustrate that. When you think about, we have had the greatest mass exit in the United States and across the world, but in the United States, we've had the greatest exit of people. The greatest exit of people to leave their jobs not having a job. Number two, we work with a lot of clients and we're hearing, well, they're getting more money from other companies. And I said, great, what motivates them? What do you mean? I said, what motivates them? If you don't know what motivates your employees and they bring up money, guess what you're going to react with? Money, because that's the only thing you know to react with. Yet if you find out somebody wants to start their own company, be a leader down the road, become a director, own their own department in terms of being a vice president, whatever it might be, once you understand what motivates people, you have a point of leverage. The game has changed. Number two, if people don't know what motivates them, there's tremendous value in asking, what motivates you? You know why? People have lost their way. People have forgotten what motivates them. Yet there's an inherent opportunity by just asking. And I had a bet with a recent client. I said, when you ask this question, be prepared. He said, what do you mean? I said, half your people won't know how to answer it. He said, well, I'll take that bet. And we had a fun wager and calls me up. He said, man, people struggle to even describe what they want to do. I said, right. I said, in the last 2 years, we all as a world, we've gone from offense to defense. You have somebody who's very career-oriented, somebody who's passionate, who, by the way, has kids at home. And oh, by the way, school was canceled this week. Oh, by the way, we have to set up the third bedroom and move one of our kids into the second bedroom so we can have an office at home. We went into defense. Not that it's bad. Defense isn't bad. Yet we had to react. We weren't driving things per se. We were reacting to what was going on in the world. So that has prompted people to change. How do I know people have changed? We have the largest exit of people leaving organizations without their next job. 3 years ago, we would have said, what? You're nuts. So the game has changed. Think about just for a second. Give yourself permission to reflect. Think about your players right now. Think about your players 3 years ago. Do you have different players now? How do they think differently? What do they do differently? Now think about the playing field. Are you virtual? Are you a hybrid? Are you 100% in person with people who are disgruntled or maybe pushing back a little bit? Coaching is a game. We have playing fields internally. We have external playing fields with our customers. We have different players, different mentalities of players. And we as leaders have to be different. We can't just sit there and say, guys, the game has changed. We're behind on the scoreboard. We're losing by 20 points, but we're going to keep doing what we're doing. Guess what the players would say? I quit. Think about that. Now, I'm not saying your company is behind. What I'm saying is, if you are not changing with what's going on, and you're essentially saying, or not even saying it, but giving the perception of saying it, I want to keep doing what we're doing. And let's say you're behind or things are the same, and you have some players who are sitting there looking at the scoreboard saying, this isn't the field, this isn't the score I want to participate in. Then we say, we're just going to keep doing the same thing. Guess what happens? Players quit. They join different teams. Make no mistake about it. Coaching is a game. The playing fields have changed. The players have changed. How we play has changed. So we as leaders need to change. Thank you for listening to another episode of Coaching Conversations by Tim Hagan and Progress Coaching. Now, our company is always coming out with new and innovative solutions to help leaders coach their employees. And recently, we just created a new service called Coach to You, where leaders can pick and choose topics and assign 7 to 21-day programs for employees to learn and, more importantly, apply actions and then reflect and share what they're going to do going forward as a result of the learning. It's called Coach to You. We're literally bringing coaching to your employees. If you're intrigued, we'll have a link in each one of our episodes where you can get more information. And again, thank you so much for listening to another episode.